Ugh. Hello, people. Welcome, Glacial, Rat Skull, Happy, some guy, Connor, Chicken, Jaden. Welcome, everybody. How's everyone doing? Why must you stream so late? I was about to sleep. Have you heard of time zones? I'm not where you are. Totally red. Hello, Internet. Hello. Scoop. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Um, I gotta set everything up. Give me just a sec. I wish for dwarf mace. Oh, glad you noticed that, because I think looking back at the video, I thought I did quite a bad job at, like, showing that thing, um, at, uh, uh, removed from the background, like it blended into the background way too much. That people would just not see the mace. Or the flail. I guess it's a flail, more than a mace. Will you sign some of the dwarven figures? I'm not sure how that's going to be possible. If I could, I would. Um, though, because I'm not where Merchcraft is, obviously, I don't know how I would manage that. Like, it would be very unrealistic if they had to send all their miniatures over to me for me to sign them, and then I send them back for them to ship. That seems, I wish I could. If there is like some sort of solution we can figure out, then yeah, I'd totally sign some. Um, would you sign a potential dwarf flail? Of course I would. Uh, Leaves, thank you for the $1. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for the support. Welcome. I have arrived. Low tide. Low tidy? Hope I said that right. Uh, Welcome to the stream. I'm early today. Good. What about a dwarven cup? We'll have to listen. If the thing is, this is it. The dwarven miniature is a dive into something new, right? It is a product. It is something you can buy, which is, I don't know how well that's gonna do. This is sort of the test to see if it'll actually sell and people buy it, and if it's like a worthwhile endeavor and stuff like that. Because if it does, then I totally make more stuff to be, more merch to be bought. But if it doesn't work well, then I know it's not the right direction to go to. Uh, so it everything that comes after the dwarf sort of depends a lot on how the dwarf does. Will you do more figure in the future? I just explained that. Um, so yeah, it really depends on how well that thing does. Scrounged up some birthday money, knowing if you know what I'm saying. No, don't give me your birthday money, Jaden. God damn it! Thank you for the $5. I appreciate it, but still, keep your birthday money to yourself. How else are you gonna buy that cool thing you wanted? Cool to see muskox used. Okay, neat. Yeah, yeah. I mean, muskox are neat. Somebody suggested it. It wasn't my idea because I didn't know muskox. I knew them, but I didn't think of them for the design until somebody brought them up. Um, but playing Elden Ring right now, just speed Morgoth listening in the background. Nice. Crescent Owl, enjoy playing Elden Ring. Um, may you die only a few times, or as little as possible. Hey, Expelled Mystery, how's it going? I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Uh, we're gonna get right into drawing in a little bit, and I have some fun concepts that I wanted to draw. Uh, reason being, okay. Never mind. I'm not gonna explain it, but good. Okay, that's good. There are Monster Garden Dwarf minis? No, there are not. Well, I mean, there sort of is. If you look in the, somebody else, contacted me because they made a miniature that was inspired by the dwarves, so it looks, uh, pretty close to our like actual dwarf. Their name is Dustpunk Miniatures, and they basically contacted me, being like, "Hey, I got inspired by dwarf, so I made this miniature to enter into a competition. Would you like to file the file so you can share it with people like your followers and stuff like that?" And I said, "Fuck yeah, of course I want that." So if you look in the pinned messages in the announcements tab on on Discord. I still don't know if there's a better place for me to put it so it doesn't like disappear or anything. But in the announcements tab, there is that's the just click on that and then you'll find underneath that there's the files for uh, a a sort of dwarf miniature. If I mean, Dustpunk does some really cool stuff. I looked into his other stuff, of course, because he reached out to me. So I looked into the other things that he does and the other models, and I'd say I I'd be interested to get him to maybe make like an actual dwarf as a model, um, or maybe some other characters as well. That might be interesting. Depends. But yeah, so as you might be able to have guessed from the title of the video, today we are going to design armor or satchels or whatever goes onto the Cabrack. Also, I have decided to call them Cabrack, even though the name that won the poll on YouTube was Torox. Cabrack was the second one, and because I like Cabrack more, I just decided to use Cabrack instead. You can't change my mind. I've already decided. Boohoo. But yeah, because, well, somebody in the comments sort of swayed me the other direction. At first, I was down with Torox as well, but then a few people in the comments were like, Torox sounds a little bit too much like a Pokemon, you know? A little too much. Maybe it's the X. I think it's the X, you know? It makes it a little too Pokemon-y, so I was like, okay, Cabrack, I'm down with that. But yeah, so what we're doing is I completely lost track. We're designing stuff to go on top of this thing. I want to sort of draw like a really rough or maybe like a scene of some Varus soldiers maybe attaching some satchels onto the side of a Cabrack with like a cart getting being behind it getting hauled and stuff like that. So satchels on the Cabrack and also uh a cart to go with that, or a wagon that these things haul. If we got a rat catcher cloak, we'd be able to do a rat catcher cosplay. I mean, the rat catcher's quote unquote cloak is just like a bunch of dirty rags. I don't think I'd want to have that. I mean, you could easily make your own. I think you just have to weather the shit out of it. But I think you could make that. The more annoying part would be his proportions, because he's very hunched and like, you know, like the shape of that the cloak makes is very annoying. You wouldn't be able to just unless you like interpreted it so you put the elements of his design onto your body without trying to follow the shape but just the idea of it, then yeah, that would work. Hey, can mages use like communal magic? Like, could five acceleration mages all make like basically a railgun? Yes. Yes, they could. I want to touch on the how much we can push the magic system in the like war section when we start like going deeper into the war a lot more, because with how the magic system is built, the building blocks that I've put down, there's a lot you can play around with, and in the military units that both sides make, that'll become apparent, because you could have multiple mages casting the same spell through one wand. It'll take some practice, but you could definitely make a railgun. Or another fun concept that hopefully I'll be able to flesh out eventually is you could have a very heavily armored guy just hold a bundle of wands, and because magic travels through metal, right? So instead of just having a mage in danger casting a spell out in the open, you could make it so the wand is a really long cable, and then have a guy who's really heavily armored hold the end of that cable and be outside shooting people while the mage is way back there casting spells through the long cable to the guy with the armor. And to go even further, you could make multiple mages cast multiple spells through a bundle of wire long, wands attached to like basically a fucking minigun. Well, it wouldn't be as rapid as a minigun, but still it'd be really strong. And just have an average soldier on the front lines hold the end of it. So if they get shot, the mages aren't in danger. You can just have another guy pick up the end of the wand and keep casting. So yeah, there's a lot you could do. Like seven guys all tied to poles in a circle, and they hold up their hands and launch whatever is placed between them. I'm If there's specific groups of people who traditionally have reared and trained the Cabrack, pretty cool. Maybe have some traditional ways of making saddles or something. Yeah, I mean, I do want to put some effort into like the look of their saddles to make them look more unique. Like there's a lot more of a deeper culture behind the Cabrack and that sort of thing. So we'll see what we can come up with. Um, but basically, I need more sleep. But basically, what I want to do this video is design a saddle or like armor for this thing and a wagon that goes behind it. But the wagon needs to be like sort of militaristic. I don't know if that's the right word that I'm looking for. It's not that it has guns on it. It's just that it looks defended and heavily armored enough. Like if you're planning to send shipments through a potential war zone, you'd probably want it to be a little armored. So yeah, will war wagon? Yeah, war wagon. I get utilitarian. Well, I still want it to look nice. Even though it is meant for war and stuff like that. The fanciness and over the top nature of Varusians still bleeds through. Even in their war machines, they want them looking pretty. So it's still gonna look nice. Like it's like it's trying to be a fancy looking ornate wagon, but you can clearly see that those fancy details are definitely armor plating. So okay, yeah, it definitely has to pass the minimum Varusan drip quotas. Otherwise, they will get stopped by the Varusian drip police and get, arrested because they're not looking snazzy enough. Be weaved out of grasses and natural materials. No, no, I wouldn't use grasses. We're not going that far into it. I definitely prefer if their main materials would be okay. Let's actually get started into this. I've been talking too much. So what we should do first is I'm going to establish the requirements that we need um for the design, and then we go from there. So I have like a rough idea of what kind of materials they'd use. Let's see. Got to remove this so we have some more space. Okay, so materials for, well, let's write down what we want to design first. So uh, wagon and Cabrack armor. So the wagon has to be, well, hold on, materials first. Uh, wood, leather, wool, silk, metal. So we could definitely decorate things with like wool woven patterns and stuff like that. It might be interesting to, well, because the Cabrack is also used as a sort of sheep supplement. They definitely aren't like they if you leave them, they grow a lot more hair than this. But the Varusians sort of cut them to have this like very nice shape that they find appealing. But like they use their fur to make things as well. So it'd be interesting if the saddle or the decorations of the saddle is made out of Cabrack leather and wool. It'd be a little cruel, but I mean, would work. Leather scale plating. I with the world in general, I'm trying to avoid anything that's too scaly, because I just feel like it doesn't fit. You know, I don't have anything against like scale patterns and stuff like that, but for some reason, with my visual idea of how the world looks, scales or anything that looks like scales just doesn't really seem right to me. Yeah. What am I drawing on? A drawing tablet, if that's the question you're asking. Cabrack steak, exotic dish? I wouldn't say it's exotic. Cabrack is a very common creature in Varus. So, like, if a Cabrack gets old or some people farm them as, well, I'm sort of thinking that it's like there's a cycle to it. You know, Cabrack gets born. You use them as uh working animals, right? Whole stuff, that sort of thing. And then as they get older and past their prime, then you sort of focus on just using them for shearing and stuff like that. And then eventually you just cut them up and eat them, you know? So every Cabrak probably is expected to be eaten eventually. And then you can process the leather as well. Chat yes or no. What? Hear me out. Iron Cabrak Pope. What? Buttered Cabrack. Yeah, they're more working animals. They're definitely cultivated to be strong working animals and very utility based. Like you can milk them, you can cut them to have wool, you can have them, be working animals. So those are like the three main things that are useful on trips and stuff like that. Do Cabracks get lordoses? Lordoses? Like horses? What is that? Cabrack cheese. My first time on stream live. Business. Hello, welcome to the stream then. First time. Are the Cabracks uh, predated by something like wolves, bears? I'd expect them to be. I sort of think of them as being in the same niche um as ox or something like that, or buffaloes, where but I don't expect them to be in like really large hordes. They'd probably be in like smaller groups of maybe 6 to 8, maybe 12, bunched together and stuff like that. If they're out in the wild, obviously if they're in a farm and stuff like that, they'd be in a pen. Uh but yeah, so like they'd be prone to a predation of the same sort of animals that would hunt those down. Maybe we could eventually like design some sort of animal that is a hunter of this thing. I wouldn't expect there to be a larger hunter that hunts these things. Like this thing is definitely one of the largest of the area where they're in. So it would probably be pack animals that hunt them, like wolves or maybe some sort of hyena-esque thing or something like that. So yeah, like wolves. They'd hunt these in groups. So the classic try and separate the young or maybe a weaker one from the pack, scare the rest off, and then surround them and attack them from different sides, that sort of thing. Crocodiles eat ox. That could be interesting. I mean, we'll see. I mean, crocodiles do a really good job at being crocodiles already. I don't expect there to be. I mean, there could just be crocodiles. Like, I don't think I need to reinvent. The crocodile is perfect. I mean, it's been like that for how many millions of years, you know? That's probably me saying something wrong, and people who have a knowledge of evolution shit will be like, no, actually, it's half a million years or something. But yeah, like crocodiles have been good for a long time, so I think they're fine. Moose enter a thing called a rut, where they fight constantly. I think at the point of like how maybe Wild Cabrak would have a version of that, but I don't expect like the more cultivated what's the word? I forgot what word I'm looking for, but the ones that are bred by people probably don't have such a domesticated. Yeah, the domesticated ones probably don't have such a extreme thing like that going on, like a rut, because that would be very, you'd not want that to be a thing. Okay. Do you think there should be any other materials that these guys have available to them? I think that's a good lineup, actually. I don't want to, like, spread too far out, I think. Because then if we pull in too many materials, there's going to be too many textures to deal with, you know? And I think those four are, like, a really solid base already. Bone? I want to avoid bone. Because, like, yeah, bone, but it really, uh, like, instantly makes you think tribal, you know? Bones, and then it's like, bam, tribal. So, yeah, no bones. No bones. Maybe in like smaller builds. Like I get that like things are made out of bones nowadays too, but As soon as you use bones in the designs, I think it gets too primal, yeah. A stone? We're making a cart, so I don't think stone's gonna be good as well. Yeah. Oh, dyes and stuff like that. Wait, dyes, not the other dyes. Rock and stone, brother. Braided, weaved. Yeah, yeah, braids. Braids and weaved materials. That's not really a new material, but it's. I'll put it in the material list as well. Pelts? Is pelts not just leather that has the hair still on it? Is that what a pelt is? I mean, we could definitely do pelts. They could use grass or fibrous plants. Now, again, I think that's going to push it into a too much of a primal look to them. You know, these are uh, beyond using like grass or materials that might wear too quickly. Using life mages to meld plants together and inanimate objects. That's actually really interesting. I haven't considered that, like healing mages and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I have thought that they could make plants grow, but using that to your advantage to make materials is interesting. Scrap Toyota Corolla parts. Goodness. Uh, but yeah, now let's get into what I need these designs to accomplish. So the wagon needs to be sturdy, well defended. Actually, the Cabrack armor also needs to be sturdy. Um, fancy, but it's not like fancy. It's like a. It's still utility, but it looks nice. You know. I'll just write fancy. I know what I mean. Fan. Fancy. Maybe inspired by both dwarf and Varusian architecture. We might be able to play around with that to give it like a hint of dwarven make as well. Um, Perhaps some parts of the I don't expect the saddle and stuff like that to be made by the dwarves. That's definitely like a Varusian thing. But we could have the armor plates and such be made by dwarves. Baroque. Not Baroque. The Varusian patterns are more Thai based, so I'll like pull up some references. But yeah, we could definitely have like some sort of mix like that. Uh thank you for the $5. Big feta slap. Just wanted to support the project. Love your concepts. Good night, Wanderer. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Good night. Hope you have a good night's sleep. Maybe the word is ornate. Yeah, I think ornate, but it's not like that ornate. Um, but yeah, we could have like woven materials. Bone mixed into metal. Again, we are not using bone in the design, and I don't even know how you would do that. Bone mixed into metal. But yeah, Dwarven and Varusian. Actually, these two could be the same. Dwarven and Varusian. Just there. Saddle and armor could interlock with the mane. It would be interesting, but I can already picture people saying how inconvenient that would be, and also like you'd want it to be connected to something that doesn't grow, you know? Because if the hair grows, then what do? Like you just have to weave it into the mane every once in a while or something. I've not seen Attack on Titan. I don't know that one. I mean, I know Attack on Titan. I mean, I don't know the thing you're referring to within Attack on Titan. Hmm. If it's like advanced materials made out of like some healing plants or something, I think we could leave that for something else first, or for something else later. Because I need to explore that idea a little more, and I doubt they'd use it for some random shipping cart. You know, like, oh yes, let's use our it's gonna make it seem like we're using carbon fiber to fucking armor our tuk-tuk. You know, it's a little too advanced for it. So sturdy, well defended. I don't know if I want any. Hmm. Dwarfen and Russian design. Okay, let me look at some references to get inspiration. I think we'll get. I'll be able to express what I'm looking for visually better when I start pulling up some references. Hmm. Sturdy. This is an interesting start, I think. I do want it to be pretty square, like to sort of resemble like tank-ish shapes. Not too much though, but this is an interesting start. I searched up armored wagon, so that's interesting. Um, I'd want to put like an ornate roof on it or something. Hmm. We'll see. We'll see. Look up the wagon from Elden Ring. No, I don't want it to look like that. I know what it looks like, and that's not really what I'm looking for. This one's interesting too. The shape makes it look like I think the shape is interesting on this one because it immediately makes me think of like slanted armor. So perhaps making the side slanted like this immediately gives it that sort of idea that it's trying to protect against bullets and stuff. I don't know if that's the purpose of this. I don't think it is. But to me that's what it says. It's like, oh yeah, it's slanted. It's trying to reflect bullets and stuff, which would be interesting. And it could also go over the wheels. I just like that shape, I think. Um, Something too heavy might get stuck in the mud. I do agree with you. Definitely like stuff getting stuck in the mud and things would be a high likelihood. But like what I'm expecting this cart to follow isn't really like this isn't the cart that is going into the war to supply the front lines. This is the cart that is hauling things off to the side of the war, but is protected for the case that the war reaches it, you know? If that makes any sense. But yeah, like if it's a cart that is designed to get into the trenches and stuff like that, I doubt that you'd be able to get like a cart there anyway, you know? You'd get to the edges of where the trenches are and that's about it. I like getting a cart through the trench mazes and stuff would be a nightmare. You'd probably want to either haul it by person, or just have the satchels on the Cabrack and have the Cabrack go by itself without the cart. So yeah, that might be an interesting logistical like problem we'll be able to like play around with in the future is like how do Ram and Varus tackle the problem of shipments and supply and how they get things to the front lines that are deep within the trenches. Like what things have they designed? I'm assuming that Ram would probably do something of the sorts with something with tunnels, like underground, and Varus would probably get like the dwarves to make some sort of golem that can haul supplies through trenches. Why not use cured hardened hide as the outside of the wagon? Because I want it to be metal. It's supposed to be protectant against getting shot. So metal would probably be better for that. There might be some wooden parts, but I want it to be mostly metal, I think. Ooh, you know what else could be really interesting to like help pull the design into like a more militaristic angle? Uh Railings. I doubt that there'd have to be railings like on the outside. Like if you can walk along the side of the wagon, that makes it look too big, but like railing behind the wagon could be interesting. Let me write down everything I find interesting about these actually, so I can remember. Okay, so slanted shape. That's not how you spell square. How the hell do you spell square? Did I forget how to spell square? No. No, I didn't. Square. Huh? How? How did I forget? It does have a Q. What? That looks so wrong. Why does that look wrong? It's probably because I write in capitals, I guess. So it just looks really wrong. Metal shaped square. Railings. Let's see, what else? This one's a good angle to see the shape of it. It's the same one. I'm expecting... Love your avatar at the bottom. Thank you. Do we want a second? So if it's like an important shipment, I think having some reinforcement with the thing would be good. So perhaps having like a gunner in there, or like a second person to be a lookout, probably would be good. The puckle gun would be perfect. Well, we'll have to design our own gun because I don't... The era of guns we're using is very specific. Hold on. Puckle gun. I'm just gonna... The fuck is that thing? The what? It looks awesome. I need to figure out how it works, though. Puckle gun. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Love your name. Love your stuff, dude. Such an inspiration to me. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you. Is it a Is it those guns with... Does this have bullets already? How does this thing work? I looked up puckle gun mechanism, and it is not giving me clear... Nothing. It's not telling me anything. There's 6 muskets? Ah, perfect then. Yeah, that'd be perfect. So is that at the top? Is that the striking hammer? Wait, is that the... Hold on. I'm not getting a good image of this thing, annoyingly enough. There you go. Yeah, we could totally have this sort of thing. I mean, we do want... we have been playing around with, like, revolving flintlocks and stuff like that, so yeah, this thing would totally work. I want to modify it a little bit, but I love the shape of it. The shape is really cool. I really like the shape. And you could also have it be quite quickly reloaded, like, because it's in a cart. So you could just have multiple of these things. If we could make them interchangeable, perhaps. Uh, Instead of having like I don't know if these are separate flash pans. If they are, then yeah, you could just take that whole thing out and replace it. If that is the flash pan and this isn't, then you'd have to refill that in between every shot. But why not this? Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just trying to figure out how the gun works, and I'm not getting good enough reference for if I'm thinking of it correctly. But we could have it so there's separate flash pans for each of the cylinders, which means you could very easily just make a mechanism to take this thing off and then replace it with another one. So maybe in one cart, they'd have like at least 10 of these, so you could very quickly just fire off a lot of defensive rounds. Oh, could we make these shotguns? I don't Okay, hold on. What if there's like multiple different types of ammo for it as well? You could make like a weird I don't know how big these are. They're pretty big, aren't they? Yeah. You could make like a pseudo small grape shot. You could make like small grape shot rounds for these things. If somebody's getting too close to the cart, and you want to blast them in half. Um Penward, thank you. Penward Pennington. Thank you for the $5 Canadian. Appreciate it. Question 1. Would these wagons have previous age tools and stuff? Question 2. Why don't the guns come out of a wall and balance on a surface like a bull out bed of metal? Huh? Hold on. Why don't the guns come out of a wall and balance on a surface like a bull out bed? A pull out bed. What the fuck is wrong with my eyes? A pull out bed of metal. Well, I'm thinking that it might be better to like fortify it instead of just having it like be on some sort of pull out platform. 360 degrees would be preferable, so like having a turret at the top like this would be really good. Instead of something that like pulls out. Take a look at Chicago piano. It's a funny looking a naval gun. It was horribly inefficient. Well, I think this thing's good enough. Hey, Monster Garden, Simon Garden. Do you ever read stuff in the Discord world building channel? Yeah, occasionally. When I have some time, I sometimes just go in there and like check random people's worlds and see what's going on, what people come up with and stuff. It's really interesting. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I'm back. Ooh, also, hold on. Uh, would these wagons have previous age tools and stuff? I don't know what that means really, but that does remind me that an important part of the wagon would probably be that it has like parts to replace things. So some neat details might be like extra wheels and stuff. Um, why did I bury my list behind my references? Spare parts. And tools. If you're doing pure aesthetics, no, I'm not doing pure aesthetics. I'm trying to make it sort of wait or sort of make sense enough. Let me look for some more references. I need some reference for the patterns. Like, it'd be interesting to have um this sort of thing going on with the roof. Not to this extent, but enough to like hint at the inspiration. So, where is my pen? Here. So, this sort of slanted roof, right? But we take a little bit inspiration from this and have it be like there's a slanted roof like that, and then there's just another one like this. So it still keeps that square shape, but there's just a hint of this in there. And then just to add more of that, we could have like some faint like metalwork decorations around the edges of this. And perhaps like some end caps to the roofs, but it still keeps that square shape. And then we could still have the panels have like rivets and stuff in it. So it's like, yeah, there's fancy, but it's clearly still also military stuff. Something like that. A sliding rail. Well, I don't want to complicate the mechanism of the gun too much. I'll definitely just pull the idea from this and just basically have a turret on top of the thing. Just a flat round thing where the gun is inside and you can spin the whole thing around. You know? That's the simplest way to just do it. And also, if we have a rail system in the cart, where the hell do you put the stuff you're trying to ship? If the gun is supposed to like move around this thing like a fucking roller coaster. So it'd be a little compartment for the guy at the top, like this, and then probably another one for the guy who's driving it, right? something like that, and then the Cabrack, all and everything. Hello, hello, Rabbit Moon. Could make something of the armor from that. I don't understand that. Yeah, hold on. Let me look at some more roof references. Yeah, like something to do with these front panels would be interesting. Those sorts of front panels, maybe like here or like on the side here would be interesting. Could then also have it be layered. This, like a secondary color underneath. So there's the top metal and the metal that's underneath. Could use this as inspiration too for the top thing. I don't think eagles are the right iconography I'd want to use with the cart. I think something to represent. Okay, so like if we put fancy patterns on it, right? What kind of patterns would you want to put on it? Like I think it would need to be patterns that represent durability and reliability and like just heavy and sturdy. So like something like a giant or like something that looks strong. Dwarves are not endangered. Probably a ram. Yeah. I mean, using the Cabrack themselves as inspiration for the patterns might be interesting. Also, could we somehow put um dwarven craftsmanship into this thing somehow? Because right now it is purely Varusian in this state. Like, there's no hint of dwarven in there. So would there be a way to there'd be a way to implement that? The organic armoring? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but like parts for the cart. Um I mean, wouldn't it be the best idea to have the dwarves do the sturdiest parts? So, what if the general decorations and stuff like that are Varusian, but you can see that the wheels and stuff are dwarven? That could be interesting. So the dwarven wheels could shine through and just have like really sturdy but also nice patterns on it and stuff. Yeah, the gun would be dwarven as well. I'd expect the gun to be dwarven too. So stuff like the spokes and things. What we're doing is we're designing a cart, a cart that hauls materials for Varus. Ooh, we could definitely play into the ego of the Varusian trade actually. Okay, this is gonna be so basically me and the me and my writer, we were thinking about how traders of Varus would think about the war and what they are contributing to it by trading and getting resources and stuff like that. They basically believe that they are the thing holding up the war and saving it. So it would be interesting if the logo or the symbol of the trade company or whatever is like a giant holding up um Varus or holding up a city. To be fair, they are very important. Yeah, yeah, they are. Gets to their head sometimes. So this might be going too deep into it now, but I'm sort of thinking of like Let me think. Do I... My idea, the turret nest is a beetle. No, I don't want beetles. I don't think beetles is the right look I'm going for. Different designs could represent different trades. Like crab for oceanic trade. Hold on, I'm still thinking. Yeah, no beetles, no crabs. No animals. I don't think I'm looking for animals at the moment. Like maybe a ram, but other than that, I'm sort of thinking about it from. Oh, this is tough. Because the thing is, I can't just draw patterns for the sake of drawing patterns. There always has to be something about it. And I'm thinking about it like, okay, what is Varusian mythology? Like, do they have some sort of mythology? Like, they have their own idea of what they believe. Um, like basically their version of Greek myth. Maybe they have some sort of thing where they believe oh, great titans or giants built the pillars, and so it'd be interesting if they are. Varus is the up guys. The up guys. Now that's what I'm thinking. It's like, so what do they believe in? What kind of mythologies or stories do they have that they might want to depict in their patterns? So I sort of drew like an ox head, or maybe a Cabrack headed person. Maybe that's what they thought the Titans looked like or something. Let me think about this. The turtle that holds the world. Yeah, that sort of thing. But like, what kind of myth would they believe in? You know, what kind of myth would be Varus's mythology? Maybe they can't have designs from economic constraints. Well, that's not fun. I mean, theoretically, yeah, none of this makes sense. Why would a cart that's used for war have any sort of patterns on it that don't benefit it in a war scenario? But it's a fantasy world, so I want to have fun with patterns. Why not use a tree? Giants are supporting what the supports of the land would hold? Huh? Maybe they saw old ancient giant oxen heads. It's the giants. Could have Midas type characters, true. Could you incorporate ifs into the wagons? There wouldn't be a point to do so. Patterns could probably change meaning. Kind of creature to look at it, such as. No, no. What am I doing? I'm thinking way too much about this, but I do want to think way too much about this as well. I mean, talking about the tree thing, we could represent uh their beliefs, like the traders' beliefs of how important they are to the war and stuff like that, by having them be the roots of a tree. Like they believe themselves to be the roots. Without the roots, the rest of the military force and stuff like that wouldn't be holding up. So they're the 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 essentials, you know?
Do giants follow the people but big idea, or is there something outlandish to them in the setting? Well, we are thinking about it from the perspective of Varushans believing in things. So what if a person in a fantasy world made up a fantasy story? What would they think giants look like with their context clues if we're going for giants in the first place? Um, the roots would make sense, yeah, but hmm. So yeah, we could have like the general patterns around the outside be roots. And I mean, we could technically have this bull guy be underneath a tree holding it up. He could be a representation of the roots. And because he has the Cabrack head, it's like basically symbolizing, oh, the Cabrack, the Cabrack who haul the commerce is the thing that's holding everything else up. So roots, um, Cabrack. I mean, okay, from the perspective of a trader, would you be okay with representing your own trading guild or whatever as a Cabrack headed person or creature with like rings on their fingers and ornate clothing and stuff like that? Some Atlas looking figure? Yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking. I would if I was egotistical. Yeah, like you're portraying yourself. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it sounds bad because it's like, oh, I'm representing myself and my cause with an animal. But the thing is, that animal is basically the basis of Varushan trade. Like the first thing that Varush started trading, or like the thing that got them big was because they had cultivated such a really good fucking animal, you know, that gets like shipped out and other countries and stuff by Cabrack a lot. So like a lot of the origins of Varushan trade was based on Cabrack, and also just because Cabrack was the creature that hauled their goods. So it is basically the groundwork of everything that Varus has is that thing. It would make sense. Yeah, so like maybe to us it doesn't seem like such a nice visual of like, well, they're basically making themselves look like minotaurs, like monsters. But to them, in their context, it would be like, yeah, we are the Cabrak that hold up the rest of Varus and their military. So yeah, there you go. We're starting to get somewhere. Starting to crack the pattern code here. So, Cabrak headed uh man, and probably like rings and uh, ornate clothing to show the commerce side of it. So it's like this strong, brutish, like animal head, but then the clothing and body sort of is very uh, decked out. Where Cabrack? No, no bones. No bones in the design. Again, it makes it look too tribal. Where they have marble ox hold up a baptismal font. Oh, that's neat. Can I kiss Cabrack? Well, yeah, if you want to. They're pretty docile. But yeah, I like this idea. Having Cabrack. I'm not sure if I want human feet. No, we want hooves. As soon as like started drawing the human feet, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that does not look nice. Yeah, something like this would be on the side of the cart, like here. Uh, that part of the cart would have this. What other imagery can we... Human feet are weird. True, true. So that there could be an ultimate good and an ultimate absolute bad entity. The beginning, all elements are alive, or big characters that were originally meant to use magic. Eh? Other side depicts their trade ability. Yeah, I'm sort of thinking like how, because this sort of depicts like their might, yes, and like the rings and stuff like that, sort of their trade. But perhaps we want like another mural that shows their trade with dwarves, as I expect this to be like majorly a cart that goes between Trade Run and Varus's capital. So what would show off trade? A scale? Something like a scale could be interesting. Normally it's used to like symbolize justice, I guess, right? But I mean, it could also represent commerce because you're weighing stuff to trade and such, perhaps. Yeah, it does really. Do you have a guild logo? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Is like I don't really have a logo for them yet. It might be the horned Cabrack person. Justice and commerce itself. Yeah. Are there multiple logos or just one? I would think that trade and shipment and stuff like that would be done by many different parties. So it would definitely not be just one, but the carts themselves would be employed by one of them. So maybe there's a major one that is like the Cabrak headed thing, and then some other guilds might have like smaller or other symbols to them. Could be a really ornate wheel. Yeah, that could be the case. Though, with the really ornate wheel, I really want to be careful because there's, well, also like a religious symbol that's like a wheel, you know? And I don't want to like accidentally uh, cause some problems with that, you know? So how would we deal with that. I don't remember which religion specifically, but like we in Thailand also have like a sort of wheel thing. When monks pray in the temples, they hold up like this paddle that has like a wheel symbol on it. Though I don't know what it represents or something. I'm not that deep into it, so I don't know what it is, but I'd rather not. There could be some kind of dwarf design in the eyes of the Cabrack sculpture. Maybe the major trade firm one is like less of the one doing the trading and more of the one handling the communications between smaller traders, handling the logistics, making it an overseer. Yeah, that could definitely be interesting. That's why there's like the Cabrak holding it up is like a major logo amongst all of them, like on all of the carts, and then there's they probably are the ones that are like supplying the carts and constructing them and stuff like that, and then giving those to separate small trading companies for them to use for their trade, and then basically taking a commission, perhaps. You know, because like I doubt a small startup a trading company or would be able to afford an armored vehicle and a Cabrack and an armed guard to ship those things. So it'd be really interesting if there's like an overseeing company that is taking care of those things and just commissioning, taking a cut of the thing you're trading. I shit in my hand. What? And the dwarves, but their dwarf friends told them it said, no, no, we're not going the Chinese tattoo route. We're not doing that. I don't think the dwarves would be that cruel to do that. Also, it's because some people in the world it would be able to read dwarven, so it'd be bad to it'd be a bad thing to build trust from if you're like, oh, thanks, I got this beautiful pattern written into my cart, and then later on a friend of yours that can read dwarven reads it and they're like, hey dude, this says I shit in my hand. We love dwarves and dwarvish. That'd be neat. Yeah, if scale is for trade, what would be for justice? That's what I'm thinking as well. It's like then the symbols for justice would have to change as well. I mean, the symbol for justice I was thinking would be the head of a, or just like one of the pillarmen, uh, probably. Oh, we'll have to like think really deep into this if we like want to go way too far into like Varusian culture and what's holding them up and stuff like that. So okay. Okay. Me tired, going to bed, happy that one of my ideas is making uh a lot of talk, the roots and such. Okay, take care. Thank you for your ideas. It's a fun thing about the various symbols and what they mean and their origins because those are the base of so many designs and mythos. Yeah, that's the thing is like uh a lot of designs nowadays are also based off of myths and things that are, like have origins way into the past. So I can't wholeheartedly just draw something up and be like, "Yep, that's the design it has," without thinking way too much about why it has that design. Why is a giant Cabrack headed man holding up roots the symbol for the trade companies? You know, oh my god, Cabrack with, yes, holy shit, that's awesome. Cabrack head uh with scales holding or hanging off the horns. That's fucking awesome. We could do something like this, or like this. No, hanging. It's a sick ass design, man. Such a good idea. Okay. Hydro Game Dev. Good job. You cracked the code. I think everybody's on the same page on this one. Fucking Cabrack head with scales hanging off the horns. Yes. Yeah, it implies a level of respect to the animals as well. I like that part too, because like with Varus and their relationship with the Cabrak, I do feel like they are very treasured animals. Like they're not just treated as cattle or just like, yeah, stuff them in a pen. Like, no, if you have a Cabrak, you take care and treat that Cabrak with respect. It is what that thing is literally keeping you alive. Like without it, you wouldn't be able to do your trade and stuff. So there's an aura of respect to the creatures, and you take care of them and stuff. Maybe there's a dwarven symbol on the shows partnership. I don't think on the chest would be good. Don't think it's a skull. No, I don't want a skull. It's an actual proper head. I don't want it to look like they decapitated a Cabrack. I do want it to look like it's actually still there. Yeah. How do we show the dwarven trade? Yeah, dwarves seem like a sort of hammer and anvil looking. I mean, but like, hold on. What? Hmm. I'm thinking if there would be dwarven symbols on the cart, because like, okay, think about it from. I mean, yes, we're doing a lot of over the top detail, but think about this: if you're a hunting platoon trying to, like, or like a ROM, secret like undercover soldiers or whatever, you'd probably want to hunt down the cart or wagon that has dwarven symbols on it, if that was to be given away, because dwarven stuff is very valuable and very well made. So if you want to get your hands on any, it would preferably be dwarven. And like, what would be the point of having? I mean, yeah, it they hmm a really tiny dwarf sitting on the scale. Would there be dwarf symbols on a possibly religious figure, or would the interfere with the symbolism of the religion? Yeah, I doubt they'd want to put a symbol of the dwarves onto the Cabrack person, right? The Cabrack man. I don't think having over the top dwarf design, since yeah, even bigger target. Yeah, I think having it so there are things on the design that are made by dwarves, but not like any dwarven symbols on the thing would be enough. So, like, hinting at it by having the wheels and stuff have sort of Celtic knots design on it would be interesting, I think. So, I was thinking having the spoke of this. So, okay, if it's a dwarven wheel, right? We'll just have like a really sturdy wheel with like a really strong inner this axle thing. Uh and then just enough of a hint that it's made by dwarves by perhaps having this like flare out nicely. Uh and then have some of the metal parts like weave over each other. Like this, the same as like their patterns. Like that. Yeah, and then like a Celtic cross or something in the middle of the wheel here. So just enough, if you looked closer, you might be able to like identify which parts of the wagon were dwarven manufactured and which parts were Varusian. The dwarves are supporting them in the ventures. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I guess you could sort of look into it deeper as well. That it's like, oh, the wheels are supporting the cart, which is the Varusian trade. Um, have you seen the amazing animated short film called Astartes? Yes, yes, I have seen it. High quality animations that I've seen on this platform. It's Warhammer and made by one person. It was made canon. Wait, it was made canon? That's fucking awesome, man. But yeah, I have seen it, and it is really awesome. It is so good. Um, that I can't I still can't believe that it was one guy who just made that. Um, but yeah, that is incredibly impressive. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, we got like a basis for like some nice patterns to use. We have the scales on the Cabrack horns. We have the Cabrack holding up the roots. And the rest could just be like generic patterns. I don't want to plaster too many things on this. So the Cabrack holding up the roots could be like on the side, and then the scales on the horn could but on the front like this. That'd be neat. So like that. Also, these proportions are completely off. I'd want the wheels to be bigger. This looks goofy, but I'm just putting it on here because I have it drawn up. Yeah, something like that would be perfect. Do dwarfs shed their exoskeleton? Yes, yes, they do. Um, their lifespan is counted by how many times they've shed. Um, but it doesn't like shed at a set rate. So like early on in their life, it will shed quite often, and then as they get older, the shedding sort of slows down. Like they shed less frequently. Yeah, and then having like an extra wheel in the back or something. So then we want like railings in the back too. Well, how do we want the cart to be accessed? I mean, big doors in the back would be preferable, of course. I mean, we could have it so it's like a fold out thing, like like this. So there's railing here, and then when you get up to the shipment or whatever, you just drop it down like that. It also helps like secure another level. Yeah, sort of like a ramp, but not really a ramp. It's a little platform. I'm guessing that if you were to like try and get stuff that's heavier onto the cart, you'd want to have like an additional ramp that's like this. Pulley system's a little much. Maybe we could just have the door be really, like the ramp be really long, like this, so then you can just drop it down. I don't know if that'd be sturdy enough though, or long enough even, because that seems like quite a steep angle. Hold on, if I make it like, if I make it this tall, and then turn that downwards. No, no, I think that's fine. Yeah, we could totally have like just a ramp that folds up to the back of the cart. And then we could have the wheel basically just be on the back. So when the ramp folds down, the wheel is underneath it. Yeah. Okay. I do want the tools to be kind of visible. Or like some of the tools to be visible to show that there's still like a bunch of utility to the thing. So things like shovel, rope, that's probably like the most important ones that I can think of that you'd want on the exterior of the thing. So like probably like somewhere here maybe. Where would you want to? I mean, you could keep it underneath here if we want to have like a slant under there. You could totally like tie a rope down there and put a shovel there as well. Uh, would it be locked up? What would security look like? I'm guessing it would be locked up. Like, I'm thinking that the main gate on the back of the wagon would have a lock on it, and then the ramp would also fold up and like tie off with like some chains at the top here. Well, at the top, with that, how annoying would that be to open every time? Hmm. The wheel could act as an extra lock? No, no, no. That'd be too silly. The ramp has a locking mechanism. Yeah, you could just sort of have like a latch on top, I guess. And then just have the guy in the cart have a big stick to reach the top of the lock. Like it's just a lock that you have to sort of push and then pull up, or push then force up. So you could just have the guy have a big stick, and then when he goes around to the cart, he'll just push, pull up, move to the other side, push, pull up. Then the ramp sort of like chunk like falls downwards a little bit, and then there's like a winch on the side maybe to let like slack on the chain to get the ramp all the way down, and then you go up to the lock and then open that. That's tedious as hell, but it's gonna be good for like protection because like you wouldn't want to. Yeah, no. A stick is a potential point of failure though. What do you mean? It's a stick. What kind of point of failure? Stick error. Like what do you, the stick breaks? Anyone with a stick could just open it. Well, the lock inside, like we're hoping that this, so the ramp isn't there to like make it so it's impossible to open. The lock is where that comes in. Where I'm sort of picturing the gate to be the main part of like, okay, the cart is moving. There's a gun on top of the cart. If the cart is moving, you wouldn't be running up to the cart with a stick trying to swat the lock way up there while the cart is moving. And then after opening both locks, you have to run to the side with the winch to winch down the fucking thing and then climb up the ramp to open the lock. You know, so it's just an extra layer, but it's not the main. The main thing would be the lock. Because the you're hoping that the gun on the cart is gonna be the thing that prevents people, you know? Not the lock is there to prevent people from just running up and taking it. But the gun is the thing that's catastrophic stick failure. True. Nobody wants a catastrophic stick failure. That's just embarrassing. No, there's no magic locks. They wouldn't realize all they need was a stick. Well, again, it's not that it's confusing or anything. It's just while you're trying to deal with this fucking door, the cart isn't quick to open. That's sort of the point, I think. It's because you have to do the locks, you have to do the winch, and in the meantime of that, they'll probably be able to deal with you. What's inside the wagon? Anything. Anything your heart desires. Professional stickman. No, I'm thinking just the guy who's riding the cart has the stick. But yeah, let's see. How do you get in and out of this thing? Because, hold on. Is that a. No, that isn't. How do you get up there? You could climb up there, I guess. side door. Yeah, you could just have this be a side door or something. Have like a few steps, like 1, 2, and then just have him hop onto the wheel, hop here, climb, then open it. And I mean, if the window's that big, you just fucking jump in there. That's what the stick is for, pole vaulting. You gotta accurately aim into the front of the window and launch yourself through there. Yeah, and then the guy in the back, I mean, they could probably both get in through here and then maneuver their way up. Or, I mean, you could just climb up there onto the roof and there might be a hatch at the top. This is a fucking disaster. This thing's a nightmare. Yeah, we got it. If you can't pole vault, you can't get into this cart. Also, this is just made out of metal at this point. Yeah, the wheels have some wood on it and probably the spokes and stuff like that, but other than that, this is fully metal. How do we... I mean, do we... Do we want to employ cloth onto the design somehow? Or is the cloth reserved for the Cabrack? The stick is wood. True, true. Yeah. I just said the wheels are wood. This thing is heavy as hell. I doubt the metal is that thick. Like, yeah, it's metal, but it isn't that thick. Metal, you know? It's a reasonably enough thick metal. So, I mean, if it's getting too heavy, just get 2 Cabrack to haul it instead of 1. The cloth could be for the animals. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, you just have cloth and, like, some armor over the thing. Some extra satchels. Also, this is way too big. Like, I feel like the size comparison would be more like... What layer is that on? That layer. Yeah, more like this. And I think that's a lot more reasonable to expect a Cabrack to be able to haul that. Yeah. And the wheels need to be a lot bigger too. You could include more cloth in the design with a flag or banner. I'm sort of thinking another thing that might be interesting, a way to incorporate cloth would be, instead of having this be metal, we have the side panels be decorated with a metal edge, and then just have like a painted or woven piece of cloth with a design on it strung up between those metal brackets. So it's like a picture frame, pretty much. and in between is the cloth. Right, so this is the cloth. That could be an interesting way to put a pop of color in it, but I don't know if that works much with the idea of a war cart. I feel like that would be a cool visual for like a more trade based cart that's like more in like a safe area where it's not like a fortified war wagon without the gun. It'd be neat to have like a wooden frame cart with tapestries in between the wooden frames. The wheels are weak to stick being shoved in them. Isn't that just every wheel? Every wheel is weak to stick. Okay, let's look at. So I like where this is going. Let me hop over to Cabrack because we need to figure out how we're going to decorate the Cabrack. I think a good reference will be camel satch. Never mind. I searched up camel satchels, and it's satchels made out of camel, not camels with satchels. With satchel. God damn it, no, that's not what I mean. I want a camel with satchels, not camel satchels. They should have armor. Yeah, I do agree that they should have armor, but I'm sort of looking for how camels have the stuff attached to them. Hold on. Maybe a horse and wagon would be a better way to see how they attach horses to them. Because I do want to get it quite right. It seems like the main way is like they got the stick underneath them or between them, right? And then they have like the big old neck piece and just a bunch of tactical things. I mean, all of them make sense, I hope. But yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a tedious thing to design, isn't it? Main focus is gonna be on the neck brace thing, and then it leading down to the bottom there. Mount a turret on the Cabrack? Jesus Christ. The neck piece is called a yoke. Interesting. I did not know that. Okay, this too. I'm thinking the cart has two Cabracks on it. Not for like I think one Cabrack could haul the cart. What I'm thinking about is redundancy. Cuz even though you hope not to get attacked, if you do, and your Cabrack happens to get shot, you'd want to have a backup. So having two is better than one. I'd say even if the cart is lighter, it'd be better to have two Cabracks. Look, farm animals pulling stuff. Do Cabracks need like horse binders on? What? What are horse binders? Oh, the face thing. Um, I mean, it calms them down, right? That's what it does. Calms them down. Aren't Cabracks bred for war though? Yeah. So I doubt they'd need that sort of stuff. But I mean, it's a cool visual, ain't it? It is a cool visual to have like the eyes covered and stuff. They should be naturally resistant to bullets like emus. D- Emos are emos bulletproof? I don't think they're bulletproof. They're not bulletproof, are they? What are you designing? We're designing a cart that's going to be hauled by Cabrack. Very. Well, yeah, but I'm not thinking that their skin makes it so bullets bounce off. They're just really sturdy animals. And I'm not saying that Cabrack are squishy. You know, I'm not saying Cabrack are squishy. They're definitely tough. And I don't doubt that if you shoot them, um, like they would just drop dead. Like they'd be tough enough to take a few hits, I'd say. Probably. But I'm saying if one of them dies, you're basically stuck. You know, if you only had one. So it'd be better to have two. Are these haul animals? Yes, yes. Mostly. They do have other functions as well, but hauling is probably one of their main functions. Howda? Howda. Oh, these things. Hmm. Yeah, no, but nobody's writing the Cabrak. Like what I'm thinking is, in like, yeah, there'll be versions of the Cabrak saddle where they actually sit on the Cabrak, but I'm picturing this to be more like a horse and cart situation where you're not sitting on them, but you're like reined up to them. So not like that. Let me search up. How do I search up satchels plus an animal without having a result of that animal turned into a satchel? What? How do I? I still haven't managed to find a picture of a camel with some satchels on it because everything comes up as camel satchels. Zamberka? What is that? What the fuck? Gun on camel? Yo. Camel wearing satchels? Yeah, maybe the camel wearing satchel. Oh my god, are you kidding? No, it's still the same smiling woman with the dead corpse of a camel strapped to her side. It's it, I don't understand what Google is up is on. Camel wearing satchel, and it's a woman smiling, like haha, my life is great with a camel skin bag. Like that's not what I'm asking for. What did you do to Google? I don't know. I'm clearly like, how does camel wearing satchel not mean a camel with satchels? I also wrote a camel with satchels. Came up with the same thing. For some reason, camel with satchels means a bag made out of camel leather. Also, if you're wondering where the hell I am, I'm plugging in my charger under the table. Hello. Okay, there you go. Pack camel? Yes, thank you. Pack camel is correct. Finally, Jesus Christ. Pack camel is the correct choice. It's actually camels now. I like this. because it shows how far off of the bot. Like, it's an interesting silhouette because it's like this really large box that comes off of the creature, like this. So I think I'll use inspiration from this. It's like a very interesting, distinct silhouette. Um, Camel gun. I know, but we're not gonna have a gun on the thing. It doesn't make sense because there's nobody on the thing. I've already said we're gonna have the guy sit here. So what would a gun on the fucking thing help? There's nobody to shoot the gun. See. That's a lot of stuff on one camel. Damn. And that's AI generated. Great. Oh, that's also AI generated. God damn it. All of this shit's AI generated. What the? Ah. Ah, there you go. Yeah, I like the wooden boxes. Makes it look a lot more interesting. Okay. Pack alpaca looks sick. Let me search that. Sorry I type so loud. The letter P is not the best on my keyboard. Maybe I wrote it wrong. I don't see many alpacas with packs on them. I see like 2 images, and they are all right. Hi, you've created an amazing world. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, let's see. So gonna take that brush and just draw over this to see what kind of shape I can come up with. So the large pouches like here makes sense to me. Right, it makes the like past the hump so we can still not lose that hump silhouette. But then we need like the big old neck brace thing like this. And then that would be going, there need to be a brace that goes underneath the thing like that. And then, where's that other reference? Oh, it's buried underneath. underneath there, and then where does that go? Where's that going? There's one there. And then... Huh? That doesn't make sense. So one goes there. And there's just some on its ass somewhere. That goes under... Is that from there to the belly one? And then there's another one on the other side, maybe? So first of all, we have the long one. It goes all the way to the cart. This doesn't make sense at all. And there's those are the reins. Okay. No. Yes? No. Where the... Huh? So confusing. There's so many lines. That. Let me cover his eyes first. Close your eyes, buddy. We gotta... Could probably attach something to the horns like this instead. So have the lines be on the horns. So you could steer them that way. Top-down reference, maybe? Yeah, that might be helpful. But when it comes to, like, hauling things, it'd be good to have, like, one big brace underneath the stomach as well. Like that, wouldn't it? Something like that. Could have it so the cloth part is a lot more... Yeah, but like their large hump and stuff doesn't really allow for that. Does the tail provide balance for the Cabrack? Nah, it just looks cool. I just like the long tail. That's pretty much it. Yacht carrying? Ooh, That's a good idea. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that suggestion. This is good for reference. There seems to be a rope that goes from the satchel on the back under its tail, which to me seems a little uncomfortable, but I mean, seems like that's what it is. Yeah, there's definitely a rope going up there. Butt strap? Yeah, it's the butt strap. I mean, we could have it so the hump sort of helps with the keeping in place. So the cloth is sort of tied around the hump. That makes sense. Like just like that. Is the hump fat or a ton of muscle, or is it there a bone there? I'd say it's probably like mostly fat. So like the same as a camel, it's sort of a energy storage thing going on. But yeah, what about armor? I don't know. I feel like armor ain't gonna be the right call. Cause like you don't wanna I mean, yeah, of course it's gonna help with defending them and stuff. But like when I looked at references for like this armored tank thing, the horses that were pulling it weren't armored. Cause it just gets too heavy, you know? Like at a certain point you just gotta be like, yeah, we can't armor up all of this, especially the thing that's supposed to be putting effort into hauling the heavy ass cart already and then shove an armor on top of it as well. Yeah. Hey Simon, caught the stream. Oh, thanks. Thanks. What? Welcome to the stream. I don't know why my response was thanks to that. Um, is the Cabrack used for warfare, or is it something that must be protected? It is used for warfare, but I don't know if like not like warfare like war horses run into battle on top of a Cabrack, no. But used to haul supplies into war zones, yes. In war though? No, no. They wouldn't be used in war. They'd be used for war. But if the Cabrack are sacred, I'm not saying sacred in that way. Like it's not like, oh, my holy Cabrack. It's like they are treasured and important, like on the same level as you take care of a horse. You know, maybe a little more than a horse, where it's like you have one Cabrack that you really like and you take care of it. But don't use the word sacred. Are they the dogs? Huh? They're Cabrack. They're not dogs. There's still dogs in the world. Don't worry. People can still have dogs. We'll see with armor in instances it's not pulling something. Yeah, I think if it's not pulling something too heavy, like if it's just the Cabrack going into an actual war zone, for the sake of hauling goods by itself, I'd say having it have armor makes sense. But in this case, I think it's gonna be too much if we put armor on it. So, you think this is enough? Like just the ass strap, the horns, that one. I mean, obviously we need the stick too. God damn it. So like that, and then there's the stick that's like next to both of them if there's another one. So there's the stick that goes onto the wagon, and then the thing that connects to the stick and this, and then there's also uh another fucking line that connects the underside of this, and then another line that connects that to that. Jesus. Imagine it with golden armor. Damn, Minecraft moment. That'd be awesome. Some golden armor, golden trim on my Cabrack. I unlocked the new skin for it. Okay, I think some horse armory thing going on would be good. Like around the snout. Like that. And then that going up to there. How the fuck does the horse thing go? Yeah, but I can't do it around the horns. So it would... I mean, you could have two straps around the horns. Yes, but it's gonna get too close to the eyes. It's gonna be uncomfortable. I don't want the Cabrack being uncomfortable. Does it go around the neck too? Yeah, it goes there. Yeah, I guess I could do one like this. But then it's between the ears. So one here. Then have that go there. And then well, around the horns is not necessary then at that point. Why have this? Because for horses you have to have that because the reins attached to it, but the reins attached to the horns. So why do you need that? Hold on. Why do we need that? Is that necessary? I've asked like 3 times. Wait, asked what? Did I miss it? What did I miss? Is there a mechanism to release one? I doubt it would be that quick. I doubt there'd be a mechanism to release a Cabrack. Like a jet engine Cabrack eject system. I'd worry about it breaking off. It's a horn. What do you think they're made out of? They're not made out of like fucking Lego bricks. They ain't gonna just snap off. It's a horn. It's made out of bone. That thing's onto their skull. Does the harness go between the front legs and the neck? Does the harness go between the front legs and the neck? Yes, yes. This one I'm thinking goes like around the neck, but problem is because of like the big tufts of hair, it's probably gonna like disappear into the hair. So it can break. No shit, everything can break. If you shoot it with a giant gun, yeah, of course it's gonna break. Like what? Yes, everything can break. Well then, let's not attach it to the metal either, because metal can break. Like, no, what are you on about? Everything can break. If we're going by, let's attach it to the thing that can't break, then don't attach it to anything. Yeah, can't have a Cabrack. Legs can break. The legs can break. Don't have a Cabrack. It's terrible for them. I can't break? Okay, we're strapping the fucking leashes onto you, Lemon Tree. You're gonna be the next Cabrack now, because you can't break. You don't break the horse's neck when you... Yeah, exactly. I don't... They're the reins, the thing you tug a little bit to tell the animal to turn. You're not going like fucking trying to rip their head off every time. Like, what are you trying to do, man? If you're pulling the reins so hard, the horns can break. Trying to kill the thing. The weight of the cart is supported by the giant neck brace and the underbelly brace thing. So like this is fine. There's enough support here. The wheels can break. Remove them. What about using horns directly as a motorcycle? There's nobody riding it. We're not gonna use it as a motorcycle. If you make the wheels square, they won't break. Ah yes, squares, the sturdiest shape. Hi, I'm sorry. Really excited by the dwarf figures. Yeah, me too. I didn't quite understand. Do you know when it will be available to purchase? No, I don't know yet, because we're still in the works of like getting into, you know, we don't know yet how it's still. What sentences am I trying to string together? We're still working on it, so I don't know when it's going to become available. But trust me, when it does come available, I will be sure to tell you. Like literally every day, I'll just at everyone in the server and on YouTube being like, "It's fucking available. Get yourself a dwarven figure. Don't forget." So you'll definitely not miss it. Do you stream on Twitch? No, no. I stream on YouTube. I used to stream on Twitch. Now I don't anymore. But yeah, what were you thinking about the this thing? I mean, it would make sense to have it be for the sake of the eye covering things, but like you could just that's gonna be really tedious to put on. I mean, it's not like you're gonna take it off often, because you need to strap it onto the neck, then over. How the hell do you, what? How do you even put that thing on if it's like that? Because you can't like put it over its head because the horns are in the way. So you'd have to have it open from the top. So you could put it under its face, then tie it around the back of the horns. Then the, okay, yeah, no, you can, yeah, you can put it on. It's fine enough. Cut it off and sew it on. Like a belt? Yeah, like a belt. But I was just thinking, like, what side of the belt would need to open for it to go around the horns? It'd have to be this side. So you'd loop it from under. So you'd use this, go under the neck, then lock it behind, then this to the front, and then, like, strap it tight. That. Yeah, I think that's good. I think. So we got our Cabrack. We got our cart. Well, we don't really got our cart. We have a very rough, small, tiny sketch of a cart. Um, and we have the reins. Okay, I mean, that's pretty much everything coming together. I would hope so. What? Do turtles smoke cigars in the Monster Garden? Perhaps. I can't confirm nor deny that. Just saying, if you did the turret, then you wouldn't have to design a strap system. Jesus. If it looks up, do the horns pierce them? From the side view, it isn't that good. I doubt that they would, because the Cabrack's shape, I was sort of thinking, would be like this, and their head and the horns would be like that. You know, so they're quite a fair amount away from the body, but from this angle, it just looks like they could stab themselves. It's a cool silhouette. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. This is a complete mess of a page, by the way. None of this looks organized. Let me gonna do something goofy, perhaps even funky, because I'm gonna duplicate the whole group. Then I'm gonna merge that duplicated group. So then I can just yoink this whole thing. There you go. It's gonna be a bit of a mess, but it's gonna be fine. Because we just want to get like a rough idea of this going. Okay. Let's see. Let me get the references too. go. So um right. Um um that's a better shape. Okay, and then the ramp. doesn't really show the design that well, because, well, it's not showing how thick the thing is. Let's try and... Doesn't feel quite right yet. Shape doesn't feel quite right. I feel like I lost some of that original thing I was going for. So let me try and regain some of that. Sort of lava lamp shape. And the wheels. That thing. The lookout hole thing. And then another layer to the roof. Nah, still doesn't look right. Is the mic not working? No, it is. I'm just thinking. The rectangular shape in the front? No, I think that's good because it makes it look like chunkier. Which I'm looking for, but just I think it's the proportions that I'm still like trying to play around with. And that I'm not yet that sure about. Maybe like it slants out a tiny bit at the bottom. A tiny bit more. Give it like a bit of a lip. I think we're getting somewhere. It's a little chubby, but and then the yeah, yeah. I think that's getting somewhere. Reminds me of an RV. Yeah, I mean, it sort of is. It's a thing getting hauled by a big thing. Okay. Sorry for my silence, by the way. It's just that, we're actually now in a serious mode where I'm trying to actually get the concept to look right. That's trying too hard. Um, like I want it to have like one of those peaks, but if I put like a peak on it, it's gonna look like it's trying too hard. Okay. Taco truck mode. Would be funny if it opens like a taco truck. Yeah, it would. Have you figured out how people get into it yet? Well, I was thinking it would be like just a door up here and then like some stairs you'd have to climb up. Probably. Not sure yet though. I mean, I'm looking at the original or like the references we have and I don't even know how the hell you get into this thing. You know? So I'm not sure about this one either. It's probably a hatch at the back. Probably. Hold on. Let me scrunch this down a little bit. Do you have to walk all the way through the back to the front? Yeah, that's what I don't think it should be that way, because, well, if you have it filled with supplies, then you couldn't get to the front. So I'd want it to rather be somewhere where you can just climb up the front instead. I'm liking where it's going, though. Like, I think that's a good shape. In my opinion, I think it's good. It's good enough. You can always, like, modify it or just call it an older version. If I eventually come up with a better design, we can just say, well, this is the older model, and they invented a new one later on. Also, how the hell do people sit in that thing? So your legs are like here, I guess. So it's just a seat and then like that. You could just make the front here a hatch then. Just make the front here a hatch, have some ladders like that, and you'd be done. Because then you could just climb up the front and open this, get into the seat, and then close it where your feet are. So I think it's fine. And then there's probably a top hatch and a top hatch here. So the person in the turret would climb through the front, climb through the cockpit, and then get up to the top. Or just have like some handles on the sides. I don't think it'd be hard with the slope to just climb onto a wheel and then just have some rails here. Like that. and to just have a person climb up here and then get into the hatch. Gunport, it's the thing up here. I just haven't done a good job at illustrating that. We're trying to shove this gun into there. That's like, how does the person even fit there? So if so Cabrack is like that big. So a person is like, it's like that big. So you could fit onto the front. Yeah, I think that works. And then we can have the stuff under here, like the shovel and the rope. And then the nice patterns, like the bullheaded guy, or a Cabrack-headed guy. There. And then the bullhead, again, Cabrack-headed scale could be up here, but it's not going to be much space for the thing. You could put it here. Yeah, not meant to be like fully frontline, because like no proper normal vehicle with wheels can really comfortably get through the trench lines. Okay, let me try and color it just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it seems like the wheels can hold up that sort of weight because this is in the references. So I think it's going to be fine. I mean, this one has like a really thick wheel, but I prefer something more like this. So like whatever thickness this metal is probably how thick this is going to be. Even though this looks like it's really big, I doubt the metal is that thick. So knowing how strong the Cabrack are, I hope they're going to be fine. Probably going to be fine. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to have to go soon, by the way. Um, I have something else to do. But I'm just trying to get like a rough concept done at least. So I'm going quiet as well. It's because I'm on a time constraint. But yeah, something like this. And when it comes to the patterns, I guess we could make them out of like a brass, perhaps. Though that would be like quite similar to how ROM does their patterns. So I'm not sure if I'd want to do that. Depends, but I'll just have it as a placeholder for now. Ooh, wait, I can use my new brush that I made for this actually. Yeah. It's just a brush that has a line going around on the outside. And I should probably do this on a layer on top of the line work so it's more visible. There you go. That's starting to look kind of neat. Kind of neat indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get that dirt and grime level up even higher. Hold on. Let me get like a texture something brush. Yeah, that works. Dirty it up real good. Yeah, there you go. Don't eat the dwarves. Yeah. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll when I come back, I'll probably draw up a Cabrack hauling this thing, so it's like a clearer image on what it's supposed to look like or feel like. And like give some scale as well, because then I can draw some like Varusian soldiers next to it, taking care of it and such. But I think overall, it has like a pretty nice feel to it now. Like it looks, the color really helped to like make its shape make sense, because it looked very goofy and sort of brick like. But as soon as like the metal texture or like the metal color comes in, you can sort of tell that it's like, oh, okay, it's like sort of tanky. That's why it's blocky, and then it like clicks. So that's nice. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to head off now, but yeah, take care, everybody. Take care.